everybody, and welcome back to Team Fuego. Welcome back to my channel. So here we talk about, kind of all things horses, right? And the recent focus of my channel has been on the Equiband, the Equicore system for horses. So today in this video, I'm going to actually review, because I've been using the Equiband now for almost 4 months. So I'm actually going to review all of the things that, things that have gone weird, things that have gone great, really look at like a review of my experience over the last couple months actually using the Equiband. Because when you read like websites about like, oh, look what this thing does, and it's all like, oh, you can get this result or you can get that result, and you're sitting there in kind of like dream mode where you're like, wow, it'd be really great if I could get all those things. But I'm going to actually tell you realistically, like in real life, what I have experienced. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so first I also want to kind of add in the story of how I even came across this tool, because the part that for me is so mind-blowing is that the Equiband system for horses has been around for 8 years, right? I've been in the horse world for almost like 20 years now, and I had never heard of it before December 2020. I had seen it, like I really had, but I never would have been able to tell you the name of it or anything along those lines. So my horse unfortunately suffered from a superficial injury, and when it comes to having an athletic anything, whether you're a human or a horse or anything athletic, injuries are just part of the game. And I was really, this time around, I was really defeated by my horse being injured. We had just gotten to intermediate. We had just achieved such goals that I had had for, decades. And, having my knees cut out from underneath me right after achieving such a great goal was really depressing. And so my horse actually ended up going to a special rehab facility where he was doing hot rejuvenation laser treatment on his superficial, because I do want this horse to come back and be a top level eventer and competitor. And even less than that, I want my horse to be healthy. I think that one thing that all equestrians have in common, all decent equestrians have in common, is the health and happiness and welfare of our horses is by far number one. And we will do whatever it takes to satisfy that need. I have had some crazy high maintenance horses in my past. This horse has been high maintenance because he's so hard on his body, he keeps injuring himself. But I've had horses with fungus where I had to literally use a new saddle pad every single day. So think about how much laundry that is, like every single day. And so, but as equestrians, we will do whatever it takes for our horses. So my horse went up for this fancy rehab. And, it's the best treatment out there for this injury, blah, 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 whatever the sales pitch was that got me to bite. All they had to say was it's good for a horse. I'm like, here's my credit card. And so part of their rehab plan was for me to use the Equiband 3 times a week. And they gave me a whole schedule, like easy days, hard days. Here's how you keep adding the minutes of trot. And for anybody out there that's rehabbed a horse, this is all going to sound super familiar. But they had me use the Equiband 3 times a week, and they gave me, all the websites, and they gave me all the YouTube videos, and they gave me all of the like instructions, but I really had to figure it out for myself. I did, which I'm a DIYer. I really am at heart a do-it-yourselfer, so I didn't mind that part. But I did learn some things along the way, and that's gonna be later in this video. But when they were telling me about the Equiband, they're all like, oh yeah, we'll send one home with him, and you can use it and see if how it works and all this stuff. And they were kind of nonchalant about it, and I was like, but it was part of the rehab, and they were saying, it's really great for building muscle in their abs and in their butt. Because the Equiband system is literally, and I'll show a picture. It's literally resistance rubber bands that go around the abdomen and around the butt. And so it is specifically for building muscles in those two places. And I have a really big horse. So one of the challenges I've always had with him is that he is really hard on his body, partly just because he's big and he stomps around like a teenager throwing a temper tantrum. So he's like, he doesn't necessarily like, you know, walk on water, or like, you know, he's not small and compact. He's like some big, massive thing that's like, ga-gung, ga-gung, ga-gung. And so when he, you know, so when I started using it, it literally forces the horse into a package. It says, hey, this is where your butt cheeks are, and here's the band holding them in place. And for their abs, you know, if obviously I couldn't talk to my horse about this, but to what I understand from, you know, the 6 years that I've known my horse before I started using this tool, was it really forced him to activate those muscles. It said, hey, use these muscles while you're doing it. And for him, he was like, this shit is hard. And so for months, you know, I used it 3 times a week, and there's ways to incrementally increase it, as in, for instance, when I first started using it, I was only using it for 10 minutes a ride, and as of now, I've increased it to using it every single day, or sorry, for the entire ride, every day I use it. Okay, that was kind of dumb, but so I do know what I'm talking about, but yeah, so I have slowly increased it from, you know, an original like 10 minutes at first to the, you know, then halfway through the ride, then a 3-way, you know, it's, you know, it is a muscle building tool at the end of the day. So if you show up and you're all like, cool, I got my weights, and I'm just like, you go to the gym and you're all like, cool, I'm here, I need muscles, I've never done this before, so I'm just gonna go grab that 500-pound weight and try and lift it, because you know what, that's what strong people do. And for this tool, you also have to think kind of the opposite of that, right? Like, you can't go into a gym and just start lifting the heaviest weight you see. You have to start with the lightweight and work your way up to what you can eventually do. And that's the same thing with this tool. So the reason I wasn't able to make this video like 1 month in, even 2 months in, is because in order to see real progress, you have to increase the intensity over time. And I guess when you read their website, the main goal of the tool is to increase it, and then you eventually decrease it, because then you use it as more of a maintenance tool instead of it being like something where you're building it up. After you build it to, you know, after they develop the muscles, then you can start using it, you know, less times a week, so that you're just somewhat reactivating their core. Because, like, for instance, if you're gonna lift weights, you don't lift weights every single day. You lift weights this day, and then you do endurance that day, and then like there's many rhymes and reasons to how you increase your fitness over time. So getting back to the improvements that I've seen. So I have been using it 3 times a week, and I use it for the entire ride as of now. And I would say that probably for the last month for sure, maybe a little bit longer, I have been using it for the entire ride that I do those 3 days a week. And I have to tell you guys, like, the results that I've seen have been, I mean, mind-boggling. Like, as I told you, like, my horse is big, and he like stomps around, and he like, you know, I mean, he floats, he really does, but he's really hard on his body, because he goes all out with everything he does. And you think about, like, if you ever experience with your horse, like, them, you know, if you experience something like me, where your horse is hard on itself, or say you feel like when you go one direction versus when you go the other direction, there's like a severe change, which is not a crime, right? I mean, it's essentially the same idea as being left-handed versus being right-handed. Like, I'm right-handed. If you asked me to write an essay in my left hand, not only would it take me all day, but it would look like crap. So for a horse, that's the same thing. Having the evenness both directions is a practice, because they're naturally better one direction than they are the other. And that's just nature, right? Like that's how it works. And unfortunately, a horse can't sit there and be like, excuse me, like I don't like this direction as much as that direction. Like they can't tell you. Well, they can, but usually when they object to things, that's not really like the answer you want. So there's usually course correction actions you take then. So the first thing it does is it helps build the strength for the horse. So the actual muscle building process, they're actually building strength so that on days where I'm not using it, I can activate those muscles. And he goes, oh, it's way easier to go this way instead of this way. And that was not from me kicking him extra or me putting him in this frame or me putting him in a package. The resistance bands did that for me. So one of the things that I want to mention at this point is that this tool like shows your horse without you being involved in that process. Like you don't have to do anything. You put it on and you have to map out the schedule. You have to be the human. You have to use your brain. But for them, it just is. It's using a tool while you work out. I mean, have you ever used resistance rubber bands while you worked out? I mean, I was a gymnast before I was a horseback rider, and we used to use those things all the time. It's a really hard workout. And so like that's where you have to take the proper precautions and you have to introduce it to them correctly. And there's and I have lots of videos about doing that because I will add a caveat right now that because of the results I've seen with my competitive horse, I will be using this on my baby horses now. I have a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, and one of them saddle broke and one of them isn't, but they're both big horses. And so I will be, and granted the difference is like with my competitive horse who's 12, you use it under saddle while you're riding them. And with these horses, I use it hand walking, like I use it on the ground. Like you can get just as much benefit from it hand walking, lunging, as well as riding. So there's a lot of variety that you can do. Somebody's in trouble. But there's a lot of variety you can do with the tool within using this tool. So the sky is the limit. And also taking into account where your horse is, like this tool will benefit every level, every discipline. Because what horse doesn't need to use their abs and their butt to get their job done? Like really, like please, I would love the comments below. Tell me what type of riding does a horse not need to use their abs or butt? I know. So anyway, so number one is that it's a strength building tool. That's really what it is. And for my horse rehabbing, it was a low impact way because he hurt his leg, right? But he lost muscle everywhere. So it was a great way for him to rebuild muscle without hurting the injury, right? Like the injury was recovering separately, but he was having to use his abs and his butt, in order to build those muscles without hurting his foot, or his leg, which was, amazing in and of itself. Because I've actually rehabbed a few horses, and one of the hardest parts about rehabbing is that you are constantly in this state of trying not to make it worse. And for this tool to exist where you can comfortably know that like these body parts are working while this body part is not being affected, there's a real comfort in that. and so result number one, building more muscle. It has been impeccable for that, which is its main purpose. But I also want to expand into some of the things that I did not even see coming. Because as I brought up, if you personally feel not even going both directions, right? Like every horse has their favorite direction or favored. But if you don't feel evenness going both ways, this tool literally helps you keep them straight, because when they're pushing, they feel even resistance on both sides. There's no way to favor one side because the band is going to keep them it's going to keep pulling and pushing, and so they have to push evenly behind. So one of the things that it really did was it actually teaches your horse how to use their body properly without you doing anything. I mean, you have to ride, and you have to ride well. Obviously, I'm not saying you get up there and start flailing around like a psycho. I'm saying if you get on and you do the job that you usually do, and you're adding these resistance bands in, then it's a tool that works with that. It's a tool that works with the horse without you having to make an impact on it. You can go up, ride like normal, and this tool is going to not only help build the strength, but it's going to literally help them use their body properly because it holds them in a package. Like, you know, for inexperienced riders, this can help you feel what holding their body in the proper package feels like. But adversely, for an advanced rider, it can help you eliminate that as a task on your to-do list. Like if you're trying to do a half pass, right? You've got to bend, you've got to move, you've got to be aware of body alignment. You have to not only be moving sideways, but you have to be moving forward. There's so many things you have to think about. But what if the body alignment was one thing you didn't have to worry about because you already had something working for you to help you with that? I mean, like it's because it is a tool at the end of the day, because you don't get to put it on in competition. So using it helps you feel it so that when you're not using it, that you know the feel, and then you can bridge that gap, right? So number one, it helps build strength. Number two, it helps them use their bodies properly, and not from extra effort from you. You have to create the schedule, you have to build it up, you have to do all the human things, but for them, it's part of the tack, and it helps them maintain that frame. So not only does it help them use their body properly, but we also touched on the fact that it helps with the body alignment. So those are both, they're kind of, in the same family ballpark. So we'll put a 2-3 kind of thing, like it's the same thing. It's using their body properly, like the evenness left to right, also the body alignment, because having the alignment is essentially using their body properly, which might be a little complex for some of you out there in interwebs land, but that's, and I'm not saying that as a condescending comment. I'm saying that as, every rider is at their own level. Every horse is at their own level. And that brings me to the next benefit. And that is the difference between me using it on my older horse and me using it on my baby horse. Those two horses don't need the same amount of muscle for the jobs that they have. However, this tool, if used properly for each age and skill level and experience level, really, because it does wrap around their butt, and for a baby horse that might be a little bit like, the wolf is coming to get you. So you have to take all of those things into consideration, be a human, use your brain. But the thing that it does is it takes the horse at the level they're at and takes them to their highest potential at the level they're at. It doesn't take you to the next level. Like, it's not gonna be, for instance, like I wouldn't be moving up to the next level of competition because of using this tool. What it does is it says, okay, wherever you are, whatever that means for you, it's going to put you at the highest potential, like the highest possible level that you are at right now. Because one of the things that I've had somebody say to me, right, like after we talk about using the Equiband, is they go, well, you're riding intermediate, I'm doing novice, I don't need to be that fit. And I'm like, yeah, but does your horse need butt muscles to jump? Like, it doesn't matter what level how high you're jumping, what level you're jumping. Like, does your horse need butt muscles to do the job? And the answer is, it's a rhetorical question. The answer is obviously yes, because every horse needs butt muscles to do what they're doing. And this is like across disciplines. This doesn't matter if we're talking about eventing. This doesn't matter if we're talking about straight dressage, show jumping, barrel racing. Like, you don't think horses need their ass to turn in a really tight circle? Like Western, how they run and then they stop really really fast. Yeah, you don't think you need butt strength for that? Am I allowed to swear? I don't know. Shit. But anyway. So we've got strength building. We've got proper body alignment. We've got proper body alignment, and we've got proper body usage. And then number 3, 2, 4, I don't know, I lost track, is that it takes your horse at their level, whatever that level may be, and takes them to their highest potential where they're at. Because, of course, she's not going to need to be as fit for like the competition she's doing. She's not going to need to be as fit as I am. But that's not what the tool does. The tool builds a foundation of muscles, and then, you know, you do your endurance training and you do your conditioning training after that. I mean, you know, she like we're going to do 2 different sets of condition. Actually, novice, you don't do any conditioning. But my point is that this just gives you a baseline for where you're at. So, so we'll put number 4 as, it is for anybody. It is literally for anybody that wants their horse to perform at their highest potential. Like, honestly. So, and I'm gonna round this out at 5 because I could literally go on and on and on, and we're already at like 20 minutes of me chatting. So like, if you've made it this far, I owe you a beer or something. Comment down below what your favorite is. But, so the 5th one, I'm just gonna round it out at, you know, one of the things and I've touched on this earlier, is one of the things all of us equestrians have in common is that we all just want what's best for our horses. We all just want our horses to be happy and healthy and performing at their best. And, you know, it took me a very long time to not be bummed about the fact that my horse was injured again. And this tool really gave me the opportunity to help him get back to his best possible self. And so, you know, like we take all the physical, like great things that it's done, like the literal improvements you can see, like I've done before and after pictures, like the literal improvements you can see. And you take out all of that and you put like the emotion back into it, where you get to actually feel like you're doing something productive for your horse. Like, we spend so much money on horses. Like, every single person watching this video, if you have a horse and you're interested in the Equiband, and the whole reason you're watching this video is to figure out whether or not this tool is right for you, well, we spend so much money on our horses. Like, yeah, okay, you spend, you know, 15, 20, 30, 50 grand on your horse, and then this tool is like, what, like $200, and like, and at the end of the day, it all adds up, and you're just like, God, horses are so expensive. But if you had a tool that you knew was actually helping you, like regardless of what your level is, or like, this tool can help your horse be at its happiest and healthiest. Because believe me, like, my horse is much happier using his body correctly. It makes his life easier, which, God, I've been trying to explain this to him for like 5 years. Like, you know, it's not the first time I've tried to say, hey, by the way, if you didn't stomp on the ground, maybe your feet wouldn't like be so, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the first time that I've said to him, like, hey, by the way, like, maybe this isn't the easiest way to do things. But, you know, when it comes to big horses and you've got so many things that you're doing, and even when it comes to small horses, it doesn't matter. Like, when you have horses and you're riding them and you have so many things on your checklist, that creates like the proper picture. It creates the pretty package. It is proper riding. There, I mean, and I've only even touched on what the horse has to do, not the fact that, you know, like, you have to keep your heels down, you have to keep, you know, your abs tight, you have to keep your shoulders back, you have to keep your back straight. Like, so like I haven't even added in the fact that, okay, on this massive checklist of all the things that you're focused on to make your horse go well, that also includes the massive checklist of things you have to do to make to make you go well. So this tool just helps, you know, check off one of those boxes without any second thought. And it checks the box for you and the horse, because no horse is gonna, you know, and as I said, I think I've said this like 3 or 4 times, but as the human, you have to use your brain and you have to create a schedule that is a proper, like it gives the horse the proper introduction, it gives the horse the proper increase over time. And you know, I mean, I was doing this through a rehab, so I can't even imagine what the results would have been if I had thrown this in like while he was in full work, like how much that horse would have improved while he was really doing his thing. Like, actually, I don't want to think about it, it's depressing, but my point is that if you could just check one of those boxes and mindlessly, like you can just ride the way you normally do and not have to worry about just one thing. Like, I don't know, for me, I think that's like pretty cool. But you know, you may disagree with me, you may thumbs down, but if you did enjoy this video, the review of all the things that, well, I actually capped it at 5, but the 5 things that the Equiband system for horses by Equicore Systems has done for my horse, specifically through his rehab. However, I am also going to start using this on my baby horses and tracking that on my channel, because not that I would have a comparison of not using it versus using it, because I have 2 babies and they're both going to use it. And a true scientist would not use it on one and use it on the other, but I want them both to have their best possible chance, so they're both going to use it. And I'm, the part that I'm going to experiment with is, the difference I feel as the horse is coming up and how they use their body from the get-go versus, having a horse I've had him since he was 6 and he's 12 now, versus having a horse that was somewhat pre-built and, after I got him, then him and I, worked on, how to mesh as a team. So the difference is going to be, where the horse starts, and how fast they can learn things and work correctly and, use their body evenly both directions. And these are all improvements that I've seen through the Equiband. So the long rant of all of this is that I highly, highly, highly recommend the Equiband system for horses. And I have said this many times, that you have to be smart about how you use it and how you apply it to your program. And I would also encourage you to bring your trainer in on this, whoever that may be. But I also have tools and resources down in the description below to help you decide how best to put it in your personal program. I also have a link in the description below to purchase the Equiband system for horses on Amazon, so you can even get it in 2 days. I know. So, and I also, I'll put at the end of this video, they have their size chart, so you can look at, where your horse falls for which size you're gonna need to get, because there's different links for the different sizes. And so, to be honest with you guys, I have, with all the money that my horse has spent, I joke all the time that he just fucking sets it on fire. Wow. I swear a lot in this video, but he just sets it on fire. And for me, I am very frugal, because I realize that horses are somewhat accident prone and they're usually pretty needy. And for me to say that I would easily, happily spend that money over again. I mean, again, I would happily spend it again for the same results that I got, really speaks volumes, because I am not the person who is going to voluntarily just, spend it. Like, I'm the person who does the research. I am the person who really wants to know what and how something is going to actually help me. Otherwise, it's not worth my time, not worth my money. And this came recommended to me by a vet, so it does add like that layer of clout. And so I was just at the point that I started all this, I was just following instructions. And from my gymnastics background, I'm really good at that. Like, that's all a gymnast is just an instruction follower. And so I was Sorry if you guys could hear that way too loud. I don't know, I'll have to play back the audio, but I wanted to cut off his ponytail, man. Okay, anyway, that guy and his small penis need to go away. So anyway, lost my train of thought too. Anyway, this review has been a rave, honestly, and I did want to start out where I told you where I started mentally, because I was just kind of like, okay, whatever, I'll follow your instructions. I've paid enough money to hear these instructions, and so yeah, I am going to follow your advice. But the results I have seen have completely changed not only my point of view, but my future, like the way I think about horse strength and horse conditioning has been forever changed. Like 20 years of doing things one way, and 3 months of doing things another way, and I will be doing things this way with every horse I have for the rest of my life. So I don't know, take that for what it's worth. There's links in the description below. If you liked this video, thumbs it up. I'm gonna be reading all those comments. I wanna know what kind of beer I owe everybody for getting to the end of this video. And next time we'll have like a powwow and we'll cheers. But anyway, thanks for tuning in to Team Fuego. I have an entire playlist on the Equiband, not only how to use it, but how to fit it, how to increase it over time. And then most importantly, the piece that's really individual to every single person is, what intensity do you need to start with, like where you need to start and then increase to for the level that your horse is at, which also has to do a lot with the fit, because that really is just, the size of your horse's barrel. Like it's actually just a number, and so and that's your goal number. You gotta watch the video. Anyway, it's been fun, you guys, and honestly, I love making these videos for you guys, so please leave me comments. Like, I would love to talk to you, and if you're using an Equiband, please reach out to me, because I would love to be a part of your journey with it, because I have seen such amazing results that I couldn't even imagine somebody not making a review that's like this on YouTube. Like, really, I couldn't even imagine somebody not raving about the Equiband, given the results that I've seen. They have been mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. All right, guys. See you on the next one.